quickly. I had a friend who had 3 children under the age of 1 because she had a baby and then conceived twins within, you know, 6 weeks or something.
Oh, poor woman.
I mean, you know,
hard work.
if you're breastfeeding and breastfeeding on demand and the baby's not having anything else, you're very, very unlikely to ovulate, but it's not a guarantee. You know, so it's always really, really good rule of thumb, don't start making love unless you want to have another baby immediately, and you know, you've got to be a very brave person to want that.
How safe is it to start making love once you've given birth? You're a bit tender down there, obviously.
You know, it varies hugely depending on what the labour's been like. And I think, you know, it's what people should do is do what their body tells them is okay. Traditionally, it's always been said, you know, go to the doctor and get the okay before you go ahead. But I think that's sort of overly paternalistic. You know, people know what their body feels like. And people actually are really quite frightened about making love for the first time. Women are very often because they're just not quite sure what it's going to be like, particularly if they've had a cut or they've had stitches. But so, you know, if it feels okay, there's no reason why you shouldn't go ahead. But
and don't forget that you can have non-penetrative sex. You can actually play around and use things other than a penetrating penis to get a lot of pleasure.
Yeah.
So that can actually start as soon as you want.
And I think what we would always say is buy a lubricating cream before you have the baby. Don't even try it without, you know, because then you don't have the sort of disappointment of, you know, well, I wasn't really feeling like it anyway and it's all going wrong. You know, make it easy for yourself. And really, the important thing, I don't know, try not to sort of watch the clock and think, well, that's another week gone by and we haven't done it yet.
Well, there's hugs and kisses and remaining tactile must be just as important.
Well, one of the things we've said in our new leaflet is talk sexy to each other, you know, talk about the things that you'd like to do to each other if you've got the energy, and that can actually talk you into the mood, but if it doesn't, then at least you're saying to the person, well, I may be all wrapped up in the baby or I may be away from you, but I do still, you know, care about you.
It's immensely reassuring, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mary, thank you for coming on the show. They're huge business in the States, and according to my next guest, they're going to be huge business here. The Lap Club is on its way. Welcome to the show, Peter Stringfellow. So, Peter, what exactly is the Cabaret of Angels?
Well, first off, it's not lap dancing. It's table-side dancing. There is lap dancing.
Is there any difference?
Yeah, a big difference. Lap dancing is when you actually get onto my lap. Straddle me, your legs over here, and that's lap dancing.
And that's not happening?
No. Then there's friction dancing, where you come, you go right over me, and you friction, right? No. Stringfellow is a little bit more like the Cliff Richards version. With table-side dancing, you dance at my table side there, and you take your clothes off. I can't touch you, and you can't touch me.
But this is girls doing it to men?
Oh, absolutely. But there's no touching.
OK.
Fully dressed, in an evening dress or cocktail dress, right? Within 3 minutes, they've taken their clothes off table side, to G-string and high heels, of course. And at the end of that, we say thank you very much, £10 into the garter, we put the clothes back on again, maybe sit, talk, or move on to another table, or dance again, you know. So
this sounds exclusively male entertainment.
Well, look, I'm not going to kid anybody, of course it is. It's not exclusive. It works 2 ways. I like to describe it as the corporate male, the entrepreneur, meaning the person who has his own business and entertains. The corporate male who entertains as well, you know. So this is a godsend. Now, if you have an executive lady and she has 3 or 4 businessmen in town, this is perfect for her too. Also, I always say that a clever wife should come and have a look. And if she's really clever, doesn't come too many times.
I mean, it's interesting that you're denying that this is lap dancing because you're saying that is where actual contact happens. I think that that sort of pretend intimacy, whether there is actual contact or not, actually is the same thing. A rose by any other name. I get a lot of letters from women who find the idea or the actuality of their boyfriends finding this attractive terribly hurtful and rejecting and very painful and very offensive.
I agree. I'm not here to convert the world, believe me.
No.
It's difficult. I've had 3 years in New York
make money
and
out
a couple of years here to work.
But you're
this out.
prepared to make money out of it, make a business of it.
Well,
So all I'm saying is that you must accept that I do find it offensive because a lot of the people who write to me find it very painful.
Right, let me explain something because of my experience, and it will help. Because there's an area where we cannot meet men and women and go, we both agree, cannot. Now, this is a difficult area. There's a man looking at a beautiful girl. He will always want to likes to look at a beautiful girl, whether he goes out of his way to do it. He doesn't like to go into the strip joint bars and do that kind of thing because it's not appealing to the nicer kind of guy. Yet this is very attractive for a male to look at a beautiful girl. No, the lap dancing, a lot of guys don't want it. Oh, steady, you know. Not me, I don't really want it because I don't want it. Now, not all men are sex crazed wanting to grab the girls. It took the police in London a long time to accept that from me. I agree with you. A lot of girls are going, oh God, I'm threatened. And there's no more, you know and I do, that women worry more about their bodies than men do. A man can carry 2 stone, he still thinks he's beautiful. A woman carries 3 pounds and she's going crazy. So there's this criticism of themselves constantly. But who is it that's dancing for the men? It's girls.
Well, they've got to earn money, though. I mean, what kind of girls do you employ? Are they absolute stunners?
A mixture of stunners to girls who make the best of themselves, you know. Of course, no argument, they've got to have a beautiful body. No argument. Not massive boobs, not every shape and size, different colour, creeds, types, countries, hair, colour, whatever you want. It's a mixture.
Fine, this is your business and this is what you make money out of, and obviously you have a right to do that, and there is a market for this, obviously. I suppose what I'm saying to you perhaps is don't defend it. Be honest about the fact that this is a business, and that's all.
But I do, but it's like being in the disco business as well.
It isn't defensible as far as relationships are concerned. As far as it were, my business, as far as what I do, which is help and advise people who write to me as an agony aunt, or counsel people who come to me as a relay counsellor, that what I'm seeing there is difficulties, pain, feelings of unhappiness about the sort of clubs we're talking about.
So can we reverse this? How many men do you get who come and say, my wife goes and watches the Chippendales and it really is very hurtful to me because there's no way I can have a body as good as he's got? None, I'll tell you.
I bet some men are pissed off
I don't
with
know
it.
one man,
Actually,
I swear I don't. It's half a joke to us, it's a fun. I know a lot of the Chippendales and the Dream Boys. Fabulous guys' bodies. Look, I'm 55. I can hold my own with another 55, but not with a 22-year-old.
You asked me a question, didn't let me answer it.
I'm sorry, go on.
And the answer is yes, actually. I have talked to men who find that just as hurtful and rejecting and painful as the other way around. Yeah. What we're talking about here is, I suppose, fantasies about what people see their partners doing and what they feel perhaps they aren't adequate enough to give.
I agree
and
with
that's
you.
Where a problem is.
I'm not going to deny this. I'm not going to sit here and go, everybody should think it's wonderful. You know? There's other things I don't like, you know. But this particular dancing, we don't go to what I call the common denominator. You know, the whole world runs around the hurt person. We can't do it because you can't serve drinks late because John is going to get himself ridiculously drunk. Forget the multi-thousands who don't do that. You know, we can't have these kind of clubs because someone's going to go out and be terrible to the next girl. But multi-thousands don't do that. We're always looking for the common denominator, the poor person that we have to protect. We mustn't do that. You know, I want to be entertained. I want to drink when I want to drink. I want to be entertained when I want to be entertained. And the person who can't deal with it, that's their problem.
One of the problems about a society which still encourages or admits to or allows or finds this sort of behaviour normal and acceptable, it's also saying, in fact, that men have an attitude about women. You see, when you say the men aren't allowed to touch, I would be very surprised if most of those men want to touch. That's exactly the point. What they're actually saying is that they can't have an intimate relationship with someone. They're frightened of women. They want women to actually be untouchable and separate
you
from
can talk to me a little bit like that, because I do put women on a pedestal. I never had a sister, and therefore I find women totally fascinating creatures who are beautiful things that I do a bit of worshipping to. I love them very much indeed. But the majority of men are quite happy in their relationships. Now, we love to look at beautiful girls. I'm sorry, we're going to say, this is where we can't meet. I like that. I'd rather look at a beautiful girl and watch a TV program.
This is not just looking at beautiful girls, that's what I'm saying.
This is not just for the whole world.
But
you've got to understand it, it's entertaining.
There are some women out there that actually like being looked at, and we've had some on the show who are very tough cookies, who really know what they're doing. Now, I imagine at least one or two are employed by you, and I know exactly what you're saying, but I also know what Peter's saying.
Do you not also think that sometimes people defend their behaviour very fiercely when in fact, if they were really free and honest with themselves about what they were doing and why, they may not say the things that they're saying to you? In other words, someone who is stuck in a situation where this is the only way she can make her money.
Oh, that's just terrible.
She is also going to defend it.
And she's even going to... She'd be in a strip joint somewhere.
She's even going to be saying to herself this is something that I choose. It is an awful situation to have to face yourself in the mirror and say, I'm only here because I have to...
Up to now, I've given you a little because I believe everything you've had to say. But please, I'm going to help you to help you understand it. Don't patronise the girls. You're telling me that some stunning 19-year-old beautiful girl is going, no, I've got to do this. Rubbish. They're much more calculating. They know it. We're in the 90s. You can't have it both ways. You can't say let's be equal
Peter,
to the man and
you
then go,
don't
but
understand
you can't do that.
human relations and human actions.
But I
and
do.
Human
I'm older than you and I'm more experienced.
You're not understanding this.
do.
You think
I've been married twice.
Are
I'm
aware
girlfriends.
Of themselves. I like to believe that, but I beg to differ.
It's going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's phenomenally successful and we're enjoying ourselves a great deal. And the girls are very happy because they're making a lot of money and they're in a very safe environment, believe me. They're very, very safe. And the guys are safe too.
Well, Peter, thank you for coming on the show.
Well, I want to come back again. I enjoy that. Thank you, my love.
Well, we've used up all our time allocation for tonight. Don't forget to write to us if you want to share the secrets of your tempestuous love life. We're always agog. The address to write to is the Good Sex Guide Late, P.O. Box 2244, London W1A 1YG. That's the Good Sex Guide Late, P.O. Box 2244, London W1A 1YG. Now, open up your bathroom cabinet, your shoebox, your bedroom drawer, your empty pockets, anything. Just get your hands on a condom. Good night.